Oh my gosh, you're here. I'm so glad that you stopped by and decided to watch this video. Hey folks, Low Thunder Monkey back here again with you, and today I'm doing yet another home project. Some of you haven't seen the first one that I started working on because I'm not sure that video came out before this one. But anyway, why not juggle more than one project at a time? And we're working on, as you can see here, the tilt bed trailer that I've got. It's just a little guy. I've extended it. You can take a look here and you can see I added some angle iron, spaced this out because it was bolted in here. So I spaced it out on both the front and back ends, about a foot. I also added these ears here a little bit to a little bit higher so that when I bolt the lights on, they're not bolted down here, clanging off the ground, because they stick down below the bottom of the frame. So that would have been bad. So these are up higher. I've got some deck boards that I can put on here pretty soon. I'm probably going to end up covering my back slots. I might cut those out eventually, but I originally put those on to sell, stake bed ready, but ended up, my wife got me an ATV. Now I need a trailer. So I'm not necessarily needing those, but I can figure that out at a later date and cut those out and stake pocket, right through the deck boards. That being said, what we're doing today is we're doing a little wiring. So I have started heat tube shrinking and attaching wires because the wires that it did have are a little short. So I've had to make them a little bit longer. And that's kind of what we're going to work on now is getting the rest of the lighting hooked up and the wiring nicely tucked away so that I don't have a problem going down the road, getting it wet, things like that. Because the last thing you want to do is burn out bulbs when you're going down the road. Like let's say I take a road trip where I'm going up north like I just did, 4 hours away. You don't want to be popping bulbs in your taillights and getting pulled over. That's just annoying. So take the time. Spend it now instead of on the side of the road waiting for the officer to check to see if your insurance is up to date. Oh, and by the way, you can't find your insurance card. And now, you've got other things. You're trying to Google it. You've got bad internet coverage because you're out in the middle of nowhere. Don't do that. It stinks. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm going to get some more of this stripped away and we'll see if I've made any progress. All right, so now I have bolted these back on. They've got a little slot in the back of the light fixture, so these wires can come right off the side, and this can be bolted flush. You don't have to drill extra holes, which I thought I had to do, and now I'm grateful I don't. So I'm just going to strip these wires back here and get them in place, or get them ready to be in place, I should say. Just want to take off about a quarter of an inch, because that's about all the more that actually fits in the butt connector. There's no reason to go excessive, which I have a tendency to do in everything I do, for those of you who watched me before. Video games with this. So I'm trying desperately to back off just a little bit. There we go. And get it under control. Not my strong suit. Clean that up a little bit. There we go. All right. So we'll get the butt connector put on the brown one, and then you go, well, you got black. Why do you have two black and two brown? I don't have the right color wires. If I was selling this trailer, or if I was buying this from somebody, you'd want to know this ahead of time, or get the right colors, which is probably the right way to do things. But I know what I'm doing with my trailer. Since it's mine, it's going to be mine. And I'll remember this stuff, or at least be able to look at it and go, oh, that's what I did. Hopefully. But black, brown, or at least in the ballpark, and I can trace this black wire back and go, oh, brown and brown to brown, and then it comes over here and it connects to the brown wire on the other one. So everything that's black becomes brown, yellow's yellow, and then the other side we'll get into the blue and the green. But that's another story. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. Okay, now that that is done, you can see here, we'll take a good look at it. I've shrunk those on really well. No, a torch is not what you want to use. Kind of getting by. Heat gun would be best, because you don't want to singe the wires. You saw I singed the insulation of this one just a little bit. So I was trying to be very, very careful not to burn the wire. Now, you may have seen halfway through, I threw this wire nut in here. No, you don't want to use wire nuts, but here's what I've got, and here's why I used it. I realize I've got 3 wires coming together, and they aren't going to fit in that butt connector, right? It just is a no-go. 3 big wires that this butt connector only holds one of these big wires ain't gonna work, right? So I grabbed this guy. Now this is something I stole from my boss, but I've got other things I'm just gonna be giving him. This is something he uses in landscaping. It's 4 low voltage wiring, about like this size. This would be like low voltage wiring. Maybe not quite the same, but close. It's water and corrosion resistant. It's silicone filled. And it's also got, the nubs on the backside. So if I get it positioned in the right and keep it so water doesn't work its way in there, I should be just fine there. If not, that is the first place, if I have a problem, I'm going to go look. So this side is relatively done. I'm going to go ahead and, just kind of take a look around things here, make sure that they can get everything sealed up right. Ooh, that's still warm. Watch your fingers. And we'll zip tie these guys on here. Oh, getting too old to be this young. Wait a minute. What? Yeah, I said it. Okay. So you see this zip tie here. It's not doing a whole lot. I just wanted it to kind of hold these guys together on the back side here. Let me show you. Because on the front side, the wires still connect. On the back side, these are 2 individual wires. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can give you a bird's eye view of this. Hopefully that is where I have the camera. Just kind of zip tie that a little tighter. And that should not. Can I get one more click out of it? No, it doesn't look like it. That should be right about where I want it. Grab my cutters. Oh, those cutters are too far away. Let's grab these guys. Cutters on them. Hopefully they're sharp. Boom. Goes the dynamite. Dynamite. The dynamite. It's a new element. And then we're going to take these guys over and I'm going to see if I can't work some of this. See, the yellow's about where it's going to be. The brown, I actually want these guys to kind of tuck down in here. I might end up drilling a hole through here just to run a zip tie on there so they stick on there like that, or maybe zip tie them to the back here. That might be just as good. Figure that out in a minute. Give myself just enough slack because I'm going to zip tie this black wire here in a way that hopefully gets everything out the way. You know what I mean? No one mean here, Vern. So I'll be right back to show you that. Okay, so I ended up deciding I drilled a hole down here because this zip tie is still here, but the one that was holding them together, it was such a long run from here all the way over to here, and the angle was pulling. I didn't like it being able to flop down there, so I drilled a hole, zip tied it here. It won't flop down anymore. I was also able to take this zip tie, I just kind of ran across just to hold these wires over because the deck board's going to come right down past this light. It's going to notch out a little bit, but I wanted to make sure I had plenty of space, and I zip tied these wires together. So there's still plenty of loose wire. It's not like they're super tight. You don't want them super tight. Everything's still got flex in it. You don't want rubber bands for wires, and it never hurts to have a little extra here and there. You don't want to have like miles of stuff that you're trying to coil up and put away, but a little extra makes things workable. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this over to the other side, which is again where we get the green wire that goes to the blue wire, because I didn't have any green wire, so I went blue. It's ballpark-ish. And then, this other black wire that we had running across from the trifecta of black wires over to here is going to go to my brown. Like I said, black to my brown to keep things the same, and green to my blue, which goes back to green if I trace it back again. So it should be pretty straightforward. I'll get those put together and wrapped up, and we should be moving on to deck boards here fairly soon. we'll do a quick review of how I tie this all down before we go there. In fact, it looks like this one may need a hole drilled here as well to hold this one on. So I'll go ahead and drill that hole first. Okay, so I've got that one put on there. The shrink wrapped. There's a little bit of slack here. I've got them, not shrink wrapped, shrink tube. I've got them pulled down here. They're not super tight, but they're pulled across so they'll be out of the way. They won't catch on anything. Got it all zip tied there. I'm gonna run around the inside here. We're gonna see zip tie, zip tie, zip tie, zip tie, zip tie, right? Actually, it'd help if you actually saw it, right? You know, so I've got them zip tied. There is slack in here along the way, so if I need to make any minor adjustments or whatever, I can. But it looks pretty secure. I'm fairly happy with the way it turned out. I would have loved it to have been totally tucked in, not exposed and whatever, but it's not gonna hit the ground. It's not gonna get caught by the four-wheeler or anything because the deck isn't gonna come over to about the end of the tail lights. So it'll be tucked under a couple inches. Because you can see here, if we look over the top, you can see the blast, the deck board's probably gonna come out about here-ish. About parallel with this guy, so they're going to be tucked underneath here. Deck board's going to go over the top. This is about the only part you're going to see coming up. So yeah, I'm pleased with how this is turning out so far. I'm going to go get some boards and get them cut. We're going to make them 80 inches long. I need at least 5 of them, and the outside 2 are going to require a little bit of love because I need to go around the tires because they're going to come straight down from that angle iron. You can see that's going to run right over the tire and come back to here. So I'm going to have to notch out around those and then notch out when we get to the light a little bit. Nothing too tragic. So I'm going to go get those cut up real quick. I need 5 of them, and then we'll bring them up here and start drilling and bolting them on. A lot of drills. So I've got this kind of laid out. This is the overall width that I need. You can see I got a big gap here. I'm going to split that gap between all the boards. These 2x4s here, I'm going to screw in to these 2x10s here. I got it marked out right where I want it on both sides all the way around. And so there goes the boss man now. And so I'll just get those screwed in to the outer boards, space the inner boards out as needed, and make sure it's all square as I'm going along. That's very important. So you want to not only make sure eyeball it's square, but you want to measure corner to corner and that corner to that corner to make sure it's square as you go. I will be doing that. All right, so I got them all spaced out. I'm pretty square. I'm about 1/4 of an inch off. So boards aren't square to the ends because I didn't use my miter saw. So I'm going with it and calling it good. I've got it screwed, at least 2 on the inboards and then 3 in the in-betweens, just kind of help give that a little bit of rigidity of flexing. I don't know that I really need it, but I'm doing it anyway, and it's also going to help me because I'm going to build this thing, get a hand, and we're just going to lay it up on onto the trailer over there, and then I can screw and drill it down, drill it through, and lock it on. So I'm going to measure up. I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to measure up to about where the wheel ends. I'm going to cut a notch, and then it'll go on up. Unfortunately, because of the length of the boards I had, we're not going to be able to come over the back side here like I was talking. So it's going to come right up to the end of the trailer. It's not going to cover the stake holes nor my wires, which is fine. So should be good. Should go end to end. Should be nice and sturdy. I am hoping that, I got 1 inch, 1.1 inch, and 1 inch slots there. I'm hoping my ATV tires don't end up falling through those cracks. Yeah, this is the part you laugh because that was funny. Okay, because they're ATV tires. They're an inch and a... My bicycle tire might fit through there, not my ATV tire. Moving on. Bad joke is now crucified because you didn't laugh the first time. Shame on you. Okay, so my boss man, he helped me put this on. Just kind of hanging out at the job here, you know, doing this job today during the day because the ground's too wet for us to do the jobs we want to do. But we had this small job. I'll tell you a side story. Small job we went and ran to try to go do just a little bit ago. And well, a dog came and visited him from inside the house who wasn't really interested in him visiting. So his leg doesn't look as good. Thankfully, wearing pants doesn't look as good as it did when we first got there. And now he's inside washing it off. But I digress. So I've got this guy. I've got it notched out, probably too far forward. Maybe not far enough back. But overall, that's gonna more than clear the tire unless I put 10,000 pounds on it, which is not gonna happen. So I just need to position this, drill some holes, and bolt it all down. Should be in pretty good shape, but overall, I think it looks like it fits well. I would have liked it to have been longer, but ATV wheels, they're gonna climb right up on this thing once I drop it down. So anyway, let's take a look at that. You know what I forgot to get? I have all these nuts, I have all these washers, all these bolts. No nuts. Yeah, it's recording.
Can I use the voice? I came out here to use it.
What's that?
I came out here to use it.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. Give me 2 seconds. I'll pull that thing right out of there. That's funny stuff. Slip of the hand, or maybe I decided the hex head bolts would be easier to put on after battling when I just battled. So here we go again.
Forgot your phone.
Nope, sure didn't. You know what the best part about lock washers is? If you get them snug and you put this bad boy on them, it allows it to bite, and you can draw it up and then you have a wrench in the backside. So
You don't do lock washers with wood.
no, but you do on the metal.
Oh, on the bottom, yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
bottom. So that's held on. I'm going.
So why wouldn't you want to use the round-headed bolts then?
You mean the carriage bolts?
Yes.
Because then I had the ratchet for the bottom side and the spacing that I've got, it was.
Oh, what, you can't use this?
No, because it doesn't go all the way through the frame. I'd have to get much longer bolts and drill the second hole and watch out for wires and all that other jazz. So I just went with these. They're sinking in a little bit, and yeah, you know, I mean, we're good.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I got all my holes drilled. I drilled a couple water drainage holes here in the back, i.e. I missed the metal underneath. Whoops. At least it's mine and I'm not selling it. You know, probably would have had to have done a better job or replace those boards. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna lean it up against the Bobcat here. Use those posts there to make sure I have enough clearance in the back so the tail lights don't crush into the ground, and I break those, and I'm going to try and bolt that on while the thing's standing up. This might be a good idea. So that plan failed. I'm not strong enough to pick the thing up myself, and nobody else is around. So we're going to go back to plan A/B, and we're going to get it up in the air, put it on jack stands, and see if we can't do it from underneath with a little bit more headspace. Alright, so after all my bad ideas of putting it up bike side on the Bobcat and everything else, it's done. Well, at least the deck is done. Next time we will actually get into putting the front wheel stops that I want on there, because otherwise the vehicle is towing. To get it on there and get it ramped down, you get up there pretty far, and I would like, you know, to have some sort of stop, both A, to cradle the wheels as we're, you know, going down the road and to crank her down into, and B, to stop me in case I go a little too fast and end up in the back of the van instead of behind the van. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed my perils of stupidity, and I am Lord Thunder Monkey. I'll see you next time. Bring your felons along if y'all liked it. Give me a thumbs up if you really liked it. Thanks.